Hello everyone and welcome to another special of Making the Box. Today I'm going to show you how to do your own on-rail shooter type of game using a spaceship. In this case we can do this with vehicles like the Millennium Falcon and the Ghost Crew ship. So first of all, my biggest recommendation of all, even though you can do this without using a vehicle generator, I always recommend you use a vehicle generator just to make sure the vehicle will always spawn where you want it to spawn. In this case, this is the one I'm using for my Millennium Falcon. So, first things first, you're gonna connect the path. Make a path connection with this path right here. It's already made. Make sure to have your locator connected where your Millennium Falcon is going to spawn. In terms of speed, make sure you select your speed right here on the green. You're gonna put 260, it's pretty good speed. If you want it to feel like there's a bit of action in your vehicle, but it's still low enough for you to shoot at stuff. And make sure this is off, auto start objects when connected, because if you have this on, it's just gonna make the vehicle move on its own when it spawns, and you actually want to get in on the vehicle first. You don't want it to be looped, so you turn that off too. But if you wanted to loop it, well, you can leave it looped. That's more of a style choice. After that is connected, you're gonna set something that will make this vehicle generator spawn the vehicle. In my case, I'm gonna cheat a little bit and I'm gonna show you my challenge maker, because the challenge maker is what starts the whole thing. I'm gonna skip from all the cutscene and just show you the challenge maker. The challenge maker has a scoreboard. It's gonna track all the TIE fighters we destroyed, and it has a vehicle summoner, which is the Millennium Falcon. Once the challenge maker starts, it will spawn the vehicle of your choice. After that is set up, you want to set out what are the things that you want people to shoot at. In this case, I went a bit more simple in here. There's a lot of paths, but this is actually just ships that are going to be flying around the whole place. They're not enemies. They're just ships of X-Wings that are right here. X-Wing, Y-Wings. Just to make the place again feel more alive is something I always try to do. Even though the Skydome helps in that sense, it's still nice to see ships flying around you. And if you're wondering this trigger area, this is just a little text that pops up and shows a little bit more story action. Once you cross the first trigger area, which is this one, your Millennium Falcon will spawn here and you'll go through this path. Once you cross this, all the Star Destroyers will go on and they will launch TIE fighters. And here you're gonna choose how many of them you want. But as you may or may not know, each of them launches 2 TIE fighters, which is why I have 4 Star Destroyers here. And there's another pair of 3 Star Destroyers right here. So that way you're gonna have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, around 14 of them spawning around here. But what does this setting of 20 mean? What this means is the amount of TIE fighters is eventually going to spawn. So, if you want the game to keep spawning TIE fighters until it's over, you're just gonna put a very high number so it doesn't stop launching them. But if I put something like 10, it will only spawn 10 TIE fighters. So when 10 TIE fighters of this specific Star Destroyer are destroyed, it won't spawn more of them. That's the reason of those properties specifically. But again, making the Star Destroyer go on pretty easy. Once the player enters trigger area, you'll make it start. And of course, if you want it to stop at some point, you do the same. Anyway, the ship's gonna fly around here. It's gonna destroy a lot of TIE fighters. And as I said on the previous video, this is more like a ride, so you're going through all of these ships and such. This particular ships don't do anything, so no, they don't drop vehicles or anything. You only have the ability to make TIE fighters enemies. But you can do some other special stuff I'll talk about later. Anyway, your ship is gonna fly around here too. There's gonna be some fun effects around here. Again, I just use trigger areas to make actions happen, but you can also use these points. So when the ship point, when it's reached by object on path, it will activate something. If you want something to fly by, try to hit you or something, you can do that. Anyway, you're gonna be reaching this area. You'll go inside here. Once you reach here and reach this trigger area, all the Star Destroyers will go off and all the TIE Fighters will be eliminated. And here's where things get a little bit more interesting, where we're gonna have these yellow targets, which are pretty much the best thing we have for making other things be destructible. And again, this is very simple. You'll be flying around the Millennium Falcon and you shoot down these yellow targets to get more points. It's pretty simple. It's just another way to have other things to shoot at rather than just TIE fighters all over again. And once you go around here, you will go exit. You will then go exit here. There will be an explosion, which is that locator. And you'll end here. Now, how to properly end with a challenge maker and all that, and then make the player pop up somewhere else. This part is very tricky. So, what you're going to do is, in this case I use a trigger area. So, this trigger area will make your vehicle disappear. But later on, I have it set up so that when that vehicle generator of the Millennium Falcon removes the Millennium Falcon, it will end the challenge maker and it will complete the game. And when that happens, you'll be teleported way over here. Now the challenge maker may be having a few issues when completing games, so if you do encounter those issues, I just made it so that when you reach the object on the path, that's the last point, when you reach the last point on the path, which is right after the trigger area, it will perform the checkpoint change action. Since checkpoints tend to take a few seconds, you can make the teleportation at the same time remove Millennium Falcon. The idea in the end is to make sure both things happen more or less at the same time. So you can play around with that. Again, this depends more about the style of your toy box. Now, I'm gonna show you some other interesting things that you can do. We're gonna have this rail target point, a path tool, of course. Very simple path. We just want to show you something. And I'm gonna use a ship. So let's say you want to make a game where you have to shoot down an X-Wing. You're gonna connect the X-Wing to the path. Okay, but remember I prefer the vehicle generator, but for something quick to show you, I'm gonna connect it here. And you're gonna connect the rail target point. So, you might say, but they're not exactly on the same position. That's because they're not set up at the same time. Make sure you always orient along path, no matter the object. In this case, they're moving around like that because I put them up separately, not at the same time. I didn't do a reset and play for them to go at the same time. So, let's make some buttons to make them stop. And this is something that you always should do. Before trying an experiment or trying to make an idea for a toy box, make sure you test it out without going serious on doing the whole box. Make sure you test out just fancy logic before going all out for it. And it's always nice to experiment. You never know what great things you can do. Or maybe you saw something interesting from someone else's toy box and you want to give it a try. So that's when that part comes along. You can see now they're together at the same time. So what do we want to do with this rail target? We want it so that it's behind the X-Wing because we want to shoot it down. Well, this is the part where we're going to play with vertical and horizontal offsets. In this case, you're going to put it backward. And now you can see it's in the back of the X-Wing. As simple as that. You control how far is the object on the path right when it starts. So you can get first move forward, you can give it more horizontal, see? And the great thing is that you can leave it on so you have a great idea of how far it is from the object. This is not something I did on this toy box. I did this on the recent placing feature box of Bounty Hunter Challenge, which is a Star Wars Rebels team box, and I made the Ghost Crew chase the slave eye from Boba Fett. So you are on the turret of the ghost ship and you're shooting down the slave eye, and it was done pretty much like this. Anyway, this is some pretty fun ideas for you to create your own space battle toy boxes. You can always try other things, but here's just some ideas that can help you start off. And if you want to do something on rails like Star Fox style, then this is some pretty nice ideas for you to do. Anyway, thank you for watching, and be sure to comment, subscribe, like below, and let me know if you want to see more of these tutorials. I'm trying to make them more simple now so you can understand them better. Rather than talk to you about the whole box, I'm trying to talk more about specific things. Anyway, see you next time on the next toy box video, which will be Ahsoka's Chosen Padawan.